Lysa, what did you want?
Every now and then I go to the Indiana Buddhist Temple in Oakland, and recently the head monk there has gone back to Sri Lanka to visit with his teacher, Bhante, because he has been very sick, and just recently he has passed away. So I'm asking everyone to kind of join in this very shortened, brief, simplified passing over ceremony to honor him and help him pass on. So basically I'm just going to light the candle, and then I'm going to ask for all of you just to get a quick minute of silence and give him your blessing and thanks, etc.
Yeah, because it's all the way.
Thank you.
It's been done. It's been done.
Is it? Ben's done.
Ben is done. So, and everybody open the floor to Lysa, who is being very cool by going out of her comfort zone to give us our empath presentation for the night.
Oh, that's where I am. I went away and I came back and forgot where I was. I was like, where am I? Okay, people.
Caitlin, did you get hit again?
No, I was just gone. I just wasn't here.
You can keep talking.
No,
Go
I'm
ahead.
No.
Hi, I'm Lysa.
Hi, Lysa.
Hello. We love you.
And I'm a sugar addict. No.
Okay.
Well, what's new?
Yeah, I know. So my brother told me to open this presentation by saying, "What up, bitches?" So that's how I decided to open it. What is empathy? That's a question that a lot of people have asked me over the years, and it's kind of hard to explain. So I want to hear you guys explain it. Who has any ideas? Like, in your own words, tell me what you think empathy is. Or don't. That's cool too.
Not everybody all at once now.
Phrase, because I love you.
Empathy, in my opinion, is the idea. Oh, hi, Stephanie. Is the idea that you catch another person's feelings and you understand how the person feels, maybe not in the same extent because you haven't had the same events occur in your life, but you can at least reach with them on the same idea.
I just had the strange occurrence to do what my kid said. Do you agree? Show me agree.
School teacher.
Do it. Do it.
Do you agree? Show me agree.
No, don't agree with myself.
No, don't agree with yourself. Anybody else have any wonderful ideas?
I mean, he said what I would have thought, so that covers what I was going to say.
Curse you.
Happy May.
And people view empathy different ways, so it can be defined different ways, obviously. The official definition of empathy is being able to understand another person's point of view and take things from your perspective. In today's society, empathy is really important because, you know, we're constantly surrounded by technology. Hi, Stephanie. You know, Facebook messaging, MySpace messaging, if anybody actually still uses that. Text messaging. You know, we have technology all around us, and you know, it's hard to feel something towards somebody else from over a computer screen. And it's hard nowadays to even, you know, feel anything sometimes. So empathy is really important because it gives us compassion and understanding that, and an ability to relate to others when it's harder than it's ever been. So, how does empathy relate to some pagan beliefs? This is an interesting question, and again, the floor is yours. Anybody have any ideas?
There's
Empaths? Go ahead, Mariah.
there are some people who are empathic, with other people,
Mhm.
which can lend to spiritual healing. It can lend, they could be empathic with animals, they could be empathic with plants even, and like they feel what other things or other beings are feeling.
And it's actually rather uncommon. It's not something that just everyone can do, because I actually don't know a lot. I mean, I know like.
And it's really interesting because we have a lot of people in this group that are considered empathic or have at least some small form of empathy. So the fact that like we have a lot of people here who are sharing in that is really interesting and also very like great because it's like, oh yay, we all know what each other is feeling. We can totally.
Yeah, that's not overwhelming.
Yeah, that's not
No,
overwhelming
it's
at
not
all.
crazy at all.
Anyone else? I'm gonna start calling names. I'm gonna treat you like this school children. Derek, I call on you. Derek, I choose you.
He doesn't know. He didn't do his homework.
Derek has fainted. Do you have anything, Aaron?
CPR.
Because you're very knowledgeable on things.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at how you're sitting. You're obviously knowledgeable.
that's just the way he sits.
It's just the way I sit. Like empathy. So you're just asking how empathy plays in the pagan world?
Yeah, I mean, any kind of anything.
From my experience with empathy, it's just the ability to connect with another on an emotional level. And if you have that ability, a lot of it deals with attempting to fully understand an individual. So it's really connecting not only on the emotional level, but then on the mental level. So you're basically attempting to unify the two energies so that rather than you having your own experience, you're combining their experience, kind of sharing.
No, you can high five.
Yeah, go Aaron.
I like
Good
that.
definition.
That's so true.
The example I offered, for example, Wiccans, Wiccans awaken. Wiccans believe in the god and the goddess, in all the elements in nature and everything. And so, for having that empathetic ability, being able to connect to nature is really helpful for Wiccans because it makes it, for their own spiritual beliefs, it helps them connect more to nature. Or to just everything spiritually anyways. So that's one way. Okay.
Oh, I see why.
What
You keep turning that way, and so we can't.
She wants to see your face on
but Stephanie likes my butt.
Well, I
but
might
it's
actually
also
put this
harder
up
to
so
hear.
that
It's
way
also
other
hard to
people
hear.
that aren't in SPSA could.
Don't mock me. This is
not mocking
I'm
you,
trying.
Lisa. I promise.
You're fine.
You're doing fine.
You're doing awesome.
Yeah, you're doing amazing.
Stop it.
Lisa,
Don't talk
I-
about the present. Rule number 1. Don't talk about the presentation.
Lisa, I said I wanted to be mean over to you.
So empathy versus empaths. Empathy is any human on Earth, well, most any human on Earth has this ability. We're discounting sociopaths and psychopaths. Empathy is being able to understand someone else's point of view and feel for their situations. Sociopaths and psychopaths don't have that ability. So they can't understand people. That's why a lot of them turn out the way they do. They can't feel for another human being. They don't have that capacity. An empath is someone who can strongly feel people's emotions, desires, pain, any of that kind of stuff, as though it were their own. So, like, if somebody stabbed Derek, I'd be like, "Ow, that hurt." Pop. That's one form. What? What?
Just the blade melt on impact.
I would not melt on impact in your breath.
No, the blade would.
Oh, hush.
Shut.
Oh, no.
So there are different types of empaths. There's actually 3. There's physical, spiritual, and mental. Physical empaths get a stronger read on people when they touch them. So, like, if I were a physical empath and I kind of had an inkling that Mariah was upset, and I
Don't touch me. I'm very.
Try your boyfriend.
Yeah,
Try your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Today's not a good day today, so
But
it's not
I
a good day
can't
to do
actually
it.
read people through touching them.
I know, I'm just saying, for me, I'm physical empath, so don't touch me. Today's not a good day for me.
Okay, sorry, love you. Okay,
It's okay,
so I'm a physical empath and I did this. This close contact allows me like a better access to what's going on with him.
That is known as psychometry.
Okay, somebody knows more than me.
You're good. I'll say one word.
I just don't
Psychometry.
Psychometry. Psychometry.
Psychometry, everybody.
I don't do touch.
Physical empaths. I'm sorry.
It's okay, sweetie. No, you're fine.
Physical empaths also are more attuned to things that are physical, such as a person's pain. I was reading an account where every day a person would come into their work with a headache. It turned out that one of their coworkers was suffering from migraines. That's physical empathy. Spiritual empathy is you're more in tune to that person's spiritual energy. So you read them through their energy, essentially. It's not like you necessarily have to touch them or anything like that, and you're not necessarily picking up what's going on up here, but you can tell something's wrong. Spiritual empaths are also more likely to empathize with animals and nature because they're getting that spiritual energy from everything. And then I'm going to walk back over here.
Good job, you're moving around. This is good. You're not standing ridiculously still and just. I'm very proud of you.
I'm trying. And then there's mental empaths. Mental empaths like hear or sense a person's thoughts or feelings through their mind. Hence the mental. Because of this, mental empaths are actually the most rare type. You're more likely to come across a physical empath or a spiritual empath than anyone else. Mental empaths have like a hard time in large crowds because they're picking up the actual mental processes from everybody around them.
So like telepathy.
Kind of like telepathy, except that you're not actually
It's more like impressions, feelings.
Yeah,
You're not really reading their mind.
It's not also communication.
Yeah. There are some people that are mental empaths that if they build it up strong enough, they actually can start reading not necessarily thoughts, but they are so attuned to what that person is feeling that it forms almost a thought.
Okay. I'm just making you explain.
Yeah. Taking up the time, thank you. So mental empaths pick up everything like a radio. Like if you're a mental empath, you're the radio, and everybody in the room around you, their mind is like they're sending out frequencies, and you're just naturally attuned to picking them up. And then, so despite all those differences, though, empaths are very similar. For example, the bond between a person and an empath, that creates an empathetic relationship. And the stronger the bond, the stronger that empathetic relationship. So, like me and Frey's is my buddy. I love him. So.
What did I do?
No, I love you. You're the butt of my example, sweetheart. I love you. So because Fraze is a friend of mine, I'm more likely to pick up on something that's going wrong with him than, say, Daniel, who is not in any way, shape, or form bad, but I just met him. I don't know him very well. I could still pick up something on him, but I'm more likely to pick up something from somebody I know. Also, empaths are not necessarily bound by time. Space and time has been considered kind of fluid, constantly in motion, and
That's my wedding theme.
Oh, what's it? He said wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Yes.
Yes, and that is awesome, by the way. For example, if you know somebody really well, they may be talking about, for example, their past, and you can pick up emotions that they may not even be feeling, but that they felt from their past. So if you have a friend who's talking about a dead relative, they may not necessarily be feeling at that moment sad or upset, but you feel that sadness and pain because they felt it then. Or another example, you can sense things from the future. When I was 16, I had a really strong bond with all my friends back in California, and I moved. And every day I had a feeling that got stronger and stronger. And my friend the night that I called saying I was worried, she died that night. So I had such a strong connection with her, such a strong relationship, that I knew something was going to happen in the future. So the stronger the bond, the less bound you are by things like time, because your relationship is so strong with a person that your empathy kind of extends into them almost. And words. It doesn't matter that it happened back then or it will happen, because you care so much for a person. The stronger your bond is, that you're just gonna know. Empathy and how it helps in this world. Like I said earlier, we're in a world that people are constantly fighting. There's technology that creates a wall between people. And, now more than ever we need compassion and understanding. So empaths and just empathy is needed between people. We have to really try to understand each other and be compassionate towards our fellow humans in this day and age. For example, children. I work in inner city elementary school. Those children, out of all the children in the world, need love and compassion, because they don't find it at home. So an empath would make a great teacher, because they can understand when their children need the most love and attention, or when their children are upset, and they can figure out why.
Yes, Zach?
Well, I was just thinking about, as going on the idea of inner city students, wouldn't that also be a little bit too much potentially for a teacher?
It could be, but if you, one of the things I was going to talk about next is if you learn how to control it. No, it's okay. If you learn how to control it, and if you learn the proper boundaries for yourself, then it actually becomes a very, very useful tool.
You can also learn how to clean yourself.
Yeah, learning how to cleanse yourself. And that can go. That can go with one of your own spiritual beliefs too. Like yes.
No, he's waiting.
Oh, okay. Amy. I thought you were waving at me like, hey, I had a question.
No, he's waving at somebody behind him. I could see the reflection in them.
Oh, okay.
That's why I knew that.
So, does anybody have any other examples of, in today's world, maybe a job or situation where empathy might be really useful?
Dunkin' Donuts helped out a lot.
Did it really?
Yes.
Oh my God, fast food?
When connecting with people, what I would do every morning, I'd go in feeling really good and high energy, and these people would come in just ready to die.
Yeah.
And when they would come up, I'd say good morning, the whole intro like we wanted to. But then I would attempt to connect with them, just to kind of put some of my energy out there to kind of give them a little boost.
And I've had that. I've worked with children before too, and sometimes they'll come to you and they'll be sad, and it takes you just try to make them happy and really try to put your energy out there.
One of my favorite examples, I have a student who's in 5th grade, and he's one of my sped students, and he's angry sometimes. Just, one day, I caught him walking up the stairs. I looked at him. What's wrong? Nothing. And I flat out told him, I said, okay, you can't lie to me. That doesn't work. Don't lie to me. If you don't want to talk about it, you can just say, Miss Clifford, I don't want to talk about it. But don't lie. We're going to try this again. What's wrong? Okay, Miss Clifford, I don't want to talk about it. I said, okay, that's fine, but I'm going to tell you that I love you, and you're okay. But whatever's going wrong, it's going to be okay.
I'm recording.
And he walked
Lysa
away
for
looking
Stephanie.
better, and he felt better. So, people, sometimes they need to hear something. Even just, if you're not even an empath, just having that empathy and just knowing, hey, I think this person could use a happy word right now. That
Just one thing too.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
remember an example. I've heard of it. I was watching a movie or a documentary about ramen one time, and they said the cooks will put so much love into their ramen that people will come in and eat it and gain the cook's love, and will become happy no matter what
That's
emotion they
so
were feeling.
cool.
That is a really awesome example.
I know there's a book called Kitchen Witch or something.
Yeah.
It's all about how to cook. Good
Yeah, and it's all, it was something I was watching all the time.
I'm now-
They talked about, you can feel how the cook is feeling because they put so much of their emotion into
I'm now imagining somebody making hate brownies, I'm gonna feed these brownies to you, I'm gonna be so angry!
There is an effect.
Yeah.
they found
I'm gonna make brownies pretty soon.
in regards to that, like the whole empathic putting emotion into things and putting it out. I know.
Hey guys, Aaron.
My friend of mine, Alex, he grew up Catholic, and they have.
There's a ring doesn't get covered in wax.
But he grew up in a Catholic church, and the water that they had, But they would every sermon they would bless the water with love. They would pass it around. Everyone would feel love, and they touched the cup, and everything. And apparently they had given a glass of like a little bit of this water to a patient at a hospital who was really ill, and within an hour he was fully recovered. And so that whole sharing of like empathy, and the thing was is this cup had been being passed around for years, and they hadn't really applied it to anything unless it was dire need, and it was one of their fellow church members, and he was actually fighting cancer, and they gave him a small glass of it, and sure enough it was gone, like I said, in like an hour, of drinking the water, which was incredible.
Emotions are like the most powerful thing ever, and people say that, but a lot of people don't really believe it, and it's totally true. Emotion is the most powerful weapon in anyone's arsenal, above words, above anything. It's your emotions. And everybody is perceptive to it, whether they realize it or not. If you walk into work having a bad day, everyone else is going to have a bad day. If you walk into work with a smile on your face, that will affect other people. It's true no matter where you go. Emotions are incredibly powerful, and the strongest one is love. Love does wonders, not because, magical love and fairies and shit. No. It's because love is so powerful, because when you love somebody, whether it's a love for a friend, a love for a significant other, your love for your family, that is so powerful because it's what you're born with. I mean, the moment people are born, the one thing they know is, I love my mother. And it's just something.
Not Oedipus Rex, not I love my mother.
Yeah,
That's supposed to work.
Moral psychology for the win.
Do we need to call back here?
Zach, is there something you need to tell us?
2 + 2 = fish.
Okay,
That's exactly
that's right.
It does.
So, and we're all affected by the emotions around us. And so yes, Mariah?
I was about to say, do remember though that love is one of the most corruptible emotions.
It is. But I think that's part of why it's so strong. This is me talking, not the flashcards. I think part of the reason love is so strong is because we're so affected by the people around us. Love is corruptible, but it's because we allow it to be, because we take in and we give so much love. Like, I can honestly say that I love a lot of people in this room right now. Legitimately love. Like, Mariah.
Oh, thank you, darling.
I love you so much.
I love you too, sweetheart.
I especially love the ginger, although sometimes I don't know if he thinks that or not. I love you, honey.
Love you too.
Yay.
We even got it on camera.
Oh, you do realize that Stephanie's gonna gag. You're welcome, Stephanie. But love, we give so much and we take in so much love that of course it's gonna be corrupted. It's like if you pass around a bowl of dough, of cookie dough, right? And you pass it around to the person next to you and you don't tell them what you put in it. They're gonna put in their own little piece of whatever. Like, oh, my family adds vanilla to this cookie dough to make it taste really good, so I'm going to add this vanilla. And the next person says, I'm going to add chocolate chips. And the other person says, I want to add Reese's Pieces. Everybody adds their own little bit to the pot. So I think that's why love is so corruptible. Because, we can think of corruptible as in the negative connotation of, oh, you've been corrupted. But corruptible just means it's susceptible to change. So humans are corruptible too. We're susceptible to change. Yeah. And I think that's what makes love so awesome is, it's susceptible to bad change, but it's also susceptible to so much good change. And that's part of, I think, what empaths deal with all the time is the emotions, the stronger emotions especially, are so susceptible to all this change. So we're taking in not only the love that we get for ourselves and from and that we give to other people, but where you're picking up all this other love and all these other emotions, and it's hard for empaths.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously, if you walk into a room and everybody's crying,
you
right back
die.
in.
You're just dead.
You're dead.
I know the feeling.
I think one of the worst feelings for empaths is especially when you want to cry, but you can't, because it's like, oh, nobody else around me is crying, and I'm getting everybody else's emotions, and it's this moment of, I need to feel emotion that's mine.
Do you want to know what the greatest thing ever about an empath is? I'm an empath that's in love with another empath. So our love is incredibly deep in that it's really connected.
It's like a
because we're
it's like a
both
Newton's
empaths.
cradle. That
And
just keeps getting
everybody
faster.
always says, like, you just seem so well together. And I think it's because we're both spiritual empaths.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
What's really fun is when you're sitting in a restaurant and all of a sudden you burst into tears and you don't know why, and it turns out it's the couple 2 doors down that's arguing. But you don't know it.
And that's fun, isn't it?
Oh, it's
yeah,
totally
it's way
fun. Yeah, you could ask him.
I've been driving my car and just had like pull over because I was just like,
for no
reason.
I know.
No reason.
When September 11th came around, for a long time, I couldn't go to school. I would just walk in the door and just be like, nope, crying, goodbye, I am gone. And then later, and you can kind of notice over the years how America's starting to kind of like not feel as emotionally attuned to it, because I can actually go out in public. And now that like it's been 12 years later, then it's like I can walk out in public and I'm not affected by anybody. It's like, no, it happened. Oh, so sad.
Which
people are getting over it.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Time heals all wounds, like they say.
Yeah.
So if you want to strengthen your empathy, or if you want to, as a good friend of mine and my teacher has told me, roll up the windows on your car.
Yeah.
There's different ways to do it. So if you want to strengthen your empathy, you need to really open yourself up. You really need to let yourself become susceptible to what others are feeling. Even if you're not an empath, just to strengthen your empathy and your connection to other people. Open up and let yourself feel what they're feeling. Yes, Mariah?
No. This'll be saved for when you're done presenting and we can start swapping stories, and it won't be on camera for Stephanie and possibly YouTube.
You may not want to.
Oh, this is going on YouTube? Hold on.
I mean,
well, I was thinking, we could use it as advertising for SPSA, so.
I did not just booty shake, camera. That did not just happen.
It didn't happen at all.
Just remember, Cam's videos got on camera, so.
Oh,
yeah, the Gangnam Shake. We won't talk about the Gangnam Shake.
Anyway.
Yes, we will.
Oh, that video up right now.
So just open yourself up and really let yourself feel. And I know that's hard. Like, a lot of people just naturally want to close themselves off because in today's society, there's so much harshness in the world. Like, if you look at media, from a young age, girls are told, you have to look like this to be pretty. So people naturally want to close themselves off so that they don't get hurt, which is, survival instinct. But I think that we need to force ourselves out of our comfort zone and, open up and really take in other people. And that'll help build stronger connections in everything you do.
And let the toxic people out of your life.
And yes, let the toxic people out of your life.
Because that's bad for you.
It is hard. It is really hard. And I just had to do it. But it will help wonders. Because you will feel better as a person, and then you can make other people feel better too. It's a never-ending cycle of happiness if you cut out the toxic people in your life.
You also need to not let other people's problems become your problems. Because I had that problem where somebody would have a problem, so I would take all of their emotions and bring them into myself to try to make them feel better.
It's okay. It'll be okay. I feel like crap.
And you just kind of have to release that and realize you can't always do that because you're going to feel so terrible all the time. And that was happening to me until about 3 weeks ago.
And that actually brings me to my next point. If you already are an empath, which raise your hand if you're an empath. Yeah.
And John's just like.
Yeah, pretty much. Like at least
negative, can you?
At least 50% of the people here. A friend of mine, she was a physical empath. She helped me by telling me, visualize that you're a car, and that if you are struggling with your empathy, that just means that your windows are constantly rolled down. You need to visualize yourself rolling up your windows so that you can still see what's going on outside, but that is not affecting you. It's not getting in your body, and it's not affecting you. It's not, putting toxic chemicals into your engine. And that actually helps. I mean, you can ask him. I'm stronger and a little bit better with my empathy because it's not you. If you walk into work and somebody else is angry and snaps at you, and all you can tell is that they're angry, and you start overanalyzing or whatever, it's not you. And that's the biggest thing to remember is it's not you. You're an outlet, and you're just providing an outlet for people. So, in conclusion, empathy is really important, and I can't say that enough. People need other people, and they need to know that people love them. And if you give that empathy to people, if you tell them, hey, I'm here, I get it, I love you, it does wonders. It does more than anything else for a person. And some people have these gifts of being an empath because the world needs it. I feel like everything is put on this earth for a purpose. I don't know what purpose, and I don't know who put it here, but everything's here for a reason. That means that's empaths too. We are here for a reason, and that reason is to help people. We are the helpers of the world. Does that mean we have to be affected? No. But can we share love and help the world the way it needs to be helped? Yes. And when you open yourself up to the world's energies too, you'll find a stronger connection with everything. That whether it's nature, animals, other people, or just the spirit all around you. If you open yourself up, you'll be able to take in a lot more. And I think for me, I've had a happier existence. And I hope that if you open yourself up the same way, you'll find that too. So that's all I have to say. I'm going to go sit down now.